Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be live in Sopot today and to present to you the European Marine Observation and Data Network, EMODnet. In this talk, I'm going to give some insights into the current status and achievements of EMODnet over the past decade. I will give some examples of the best practice and the added value of EMODnet in the larger landscape. I will give some highlights of the diverse user community of EMODnet, and I will look a little bit into the future, into the evolving services of EMODnet as a key contributor to the European and global ocean data ecosystem. So for those of you who are less aware up to now of EMODnet, EMODnet is a long-term public marine data service and marine knowledge initiative. It's funded by the European Commission, so it's one of the key European Union marine data initiatives, and specifically funded by the Directorate General for Maritime Affairs and Fisheries. Over the past decade, it has built up a huge diversity of expertise as a European authority and regional best practice in the marine data domain. It's a key marine knowledge initiative, as I mentioned, and it works very closely with other key actors. And in particular, today I will be highlighting the partnership with Copernicus Marine Service, which together with EMODnet provides the backbone for the European marine data space. So what does EMODnet have to offer? There is an EMODnet central portal, and from there you can access an unparalleled diversity of in situ marine data. So these are harmonized, aggregated, standardized, and integrated data sets from 7 different thematic areas over the marine environment and also including human activities. And each of these have been integrated and assembled from thousands and hundreds more of data providers. An additional added value is that EMODnet experts then produce data products such as maps or the digital terrain model of bathymetry or the EU CMAP of EMODnet seabed habitats, which can be then used by intermediate and end user communities. And the coverage of EMODnet data and data products are high resolution in European seas and increasingly having a global coverage also. EMODnet has been made possible by the huge community of experts. These are specialists in situ marine data, covering all the different thematics and data ingestion. And EMODnet experts are working together with hydrographic offices, marine institutes, data management centres, national oceanographic data centres, and the wider community. There is also close collaboration across the whole marine knowledge value chain. So EMODnet experts are sitting in the middle, if you like, in the data services, but they're working upstream with the oceanographic, ocean observing communities and data collection frameworks. They are also working together with national oceanographic data centres in networks such as SeaDataNet in Europe, and also with research infrastructures that also are end-to-end across the marine knowledge value chain, and other key data services such as Copernicus Marine, ICES and others. Also working with the user community to make sure that there is a feedback loop to make sure that the data and data products are fit for use and fit for purpose. There is also a secretariat of marine and data experts. In the past decade, EMODnet has really seen a large evolution. So it is now today a pan-European federated and distributed infrastructure. It now has an increasingly global remit and global coverage. It has moved from a small network to a movement, bringing people and ideas together. And it has moved from prototypes to a fully operational, mature and user-driven distributed infrastructure. So now a little look at the partnerships. So we have the expert community of EMODnet, but another huge added value has been the strategic partnerships that EMODnet has. Here on the screen, you can see just some examples of key actors in the European landscape, and later on we will look at the global. The main takeaway from this is I'd like to just highlight that the landscape is very diverse and complex, but EMODnet is collaborating with all of these key actors at different levels and different ways. And in particular, the Copernicus Marine Service is a very important partner for EMODnet, Copernicus being a domain leader in satellite-derived data and modelling and prediction and forecasting capability. And there is a lot of coordination and operational collaboration that goes on in terms of data flows, data validation, joint events, use cases, etc. So let's look at the added value of EMODnet. EMODnet offers one of the most comprehensive in-situ marine environmental and human activities data in the world, and particularly in Europe. EMODnet also produces these data products which are not available through other data repositories or data services. And there are these 7 key thematic areas. Another added value of EMODnet, if I go back one, oops. Another key added value of EMODnet are the data standards, services, and web services. So over the last decade, EMODnet has really pushed forward the best practice in marine data. And EMODnet complies with the European geospatial data standards, such as INSPIRE, and also more and more is complying with the FAIR data principles at the global level. EMODnet offers the harmonized data sets that I've previously mentioned, but really crucially, these are linked with searchable metadata, which are rich and allow machine actionable queries and searchable data. And the data services provide maps such as the map viewer and query tools. There are also web services that ensure machine-to-machine readability, which is key for the interoperability of these data services in the European and the global system. Next slide, please. So the philosophy of EMODnet has been to collect the data once, but then make them available and visualize them many times. Next slide, please. The takeaway from this, I would like you to look at the left-hand bar, the central portal of EMODnet. Next couple of clicks, please, which really shows 89,000 users in one annual year of last year, 2021. And most users are already using the central portal as their main gateway to EMODnet. Next 2 clicks, please. And another, please. For users, EMODnet really underpins evidence-based policymaking, operations at sea, and helps to reduce uncertainty and cost effectiveness. Next click, please. And another couple of clicks. In marine spatial planning, EMODnet Human Activities is now a European focal point for marine spatial planning, and there's a talk later in session 2 about this. Next slide, please. The user testimonials are very diverse. One example is from the offshore renewable energy, where the high-resolution EMODnet data from different thematics has enabled more precise micrositing of offshore renewable energy. And in the marine policy, EMODnet chemistry has built, together with the European Commission and the Joint Research Centre, a database for marine litter, which is an authority in Europe for this parameter. Next slide, please. And then there are many other use cases to discover through the website. Next slide, please. The evolution of services. So EMODnet in 2021 started a process, a very technical process of centralization of all services. This will enable by the end of this year that all EMODnet data and data products will be fully centralized with a common metadata catalog, a common map viewer, which will hugely simplify the user experience and really will prepare EMODnet to be future fit for interoperability in the European and global ocean data ecosystem. Next slide, please. Next click. And then a key contribution to the ocean decade. So ocean data, as we've heard, is transformative. It's relevant to all of the different objectives of the ocean decade. And EMODnet has a key role to play, both in the centralization, the increase of the provenance of the data through metadata to enable more trust and use and uptake, but also in the capacity building and the transfer of knowledge to use these services. Next slide, please. And EMODnet is really increasing its partnership at the global level. You can see on the screen just some examples. And there's also regional examples, such as the EMODnet EU-China initiative called EMODpace, which has been really fundamental for increasing data diplomacy and sharing between these regions. But also at the international level, EMODnet has many collaborations with the International Oceanographic Data and Information Exchange. The Ocean Info Hub is a key contributor, and the links between EMODnet and the European data space with global efforts such as OBIS that draws upon EMODnet biology and Eurobis. Next slide, please. And another click. Please click through. So you can see coming up on the screen all of the different ways in which EMODnet is already contributing to the UN Ocean Decade, from co-chairing the Ocean Decade Data Coordination Group to various representations and concrete inputs to the Ocean Decade actions, from digital twins to coastal resilience and predictions and ocean best practices. And a key update as well for ODIS is that EMODnet thematics have contributed best practices to that. And then last couple of slides, the key messages, EMODnet in its new phase. So by the end of this year first, EMODnet will fully centralize all of its services. And then by end of 2023, EMODnet will expand and diversify the EMODnet offer. It will be connecting with actors across the marine knowledge value chain ever more, and it will continue to strengthen its strategic European partnerships, like with Copernicus Marine Service and others. Next slide, please. And then in the coming decade, by 2030, EMODnet will be strengthening the implementation of the digital commons within Europe and beyond. It will be forging new collaborations worldwide in different regions and also globally towards the all-Atlantic data space and other basin scale and regional data spaces. And it will also expand its contribution to the UN Ocean Decade in partnership with the IOC, UNESCO, IODE, and other actors. So lastly, I would like to thank the very large EMODnet community, all of the co-authors that you can see on the screen and in the abstract, all of the Secretariat colleagues at EMODnet, and all of the wider EMODnet partners, associated partners, contributors, and users. Thank you.